Everyone get out!
Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to a bit of live recording. And as you can see, I am playing World of Tanks, which I haven't really played in a while, but I figured I would maybe dip back into it, see how it's doing these days, and also kind of briefly go over the real reason why I stopped playing. Now, as you all know, artillery is my favourite class in the game, always has been, and it's just hands down the most fun class to play, as I'm sure everybody would agree. But World of Tanks has a bit of a problem, and that is when you go and look at the tech tree, fully half the nations in the game, in fact is that even more than half, just don't have any artillery lines at all. Which is obviously, you know, that's a huge problem. That's always been kind of a big deal for me, is that they kept adding all these new nations and yet no new artillery. And you add on top of that there just has been, unlike the glorious enlightened state of affairs we have in World of Warships, where you can get premium carriers, which are kind of the indirect fire class, there really haven't been any added since the glorious Sexton 1 and the even more glorious Le Fer, which is so glorious they keep putting it on sale. So obviously they know there's a market for it, but why they haven't capitalised on this by selling even more premium artillery, I just don't know. It's like wargaming hates money, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, that's what it boils down to. I mean, I kind of masked this in the past by saying I just wasn't enjoying the game so much, but truthfully, no, it was this utter lack of artillery. Where's my Swedish artillery? Where's my Polish artillery? Where's my Czechoslovakian artillery? Where's my Japanese artillery? There's no excuse for it. You know, this is wargaming, even if there wasn't anything, air quotes, historical. You know, it's like the Chinese tank destroyers. Just make some shit up. No one will ever know. We just need more artillery. So, in order to celebrate this, well, is it going to be a return to World of Warships? I guess we'll see. World of Tanks, even. What I'll do is I'll buy my way into... Oh, let's see. Oh, this one looks good. M44. I don't think I've heard of this one. I don't think you see this one around very much, so I don't know if it's very good. But let's purchase that. And obviously, I'm going to want 100% crew, because, you know, what's the point in playing with 50% crew? No, you want to get your credit card out and get the best performance that you possibly can. So there we go. We'll probably want some nice, wonderful premium camo for it. Or do I have some kind of... I can probably put some preset style on here. I've almost certainly got something I can use. Yeah, that'll do. I'm a little low on gold. Obviously, I've not played this that much, so yeah, let's put a nice perma camo on there. We need some good equipment, obviously. Now, there's certain types of equipment we can't put on, apparently, which is odd that it seems to have this slot, but you click on that and it tells you can't actually have any of those. Oh, I bet it's because we don't have the upgraded. Okay, let's do that. Obviously, you know, this is an excellent thing to be spending my free XP on, is just do all that and get the upgraded tracks. I apparently don't have quite enough, but that's fine. We'll just spend some more gold. I can always get my credit card out, buy even more if need be, especially if I'm going to be getting back into this glorious world of artillery, which is, you know, as I've stated, it's the true shining glory of this game. Now, this is another thing I am disappointed in. There's no premium artillery shells anymore. I mean, why would you take out the shells that were just a straight pay to win upgrade? I don't get it. Again, it's like wargaming hates money. Who knows? Anyway, right, there we go. We can actually have one of these things in now. So all of these look like they could be really useful. I mean, this one, dispersion during turret movement. So that's going to mean the reticle gets less big while it's moving around, right? Let's go for that one. And then I don't know, we could go for spotting, although actually I don't think we will. We'll go for spotting. Unlike the completely gloriously balanced Lefebvre, which can have up to, what, 440 meters view range. Still, sadly, Wargaming decided that that wasn't a thing they were going to do on other artillery. I don't really know why. But anyway, people whining about balance or artillery not fun to play against or something, who knows. So consumables, well, only the best, of course. So we're going to want Coca-Cola, and we're probably going to be getting hit at some point, splashed maybe. I will go for the 105 octane as well, so that's fine. Hopefully if we get set on fire, they can pour the Coca-Cola on it, as opposed to the octane. If they poured that on it, it probably wouldn't do much good. So, like I say, I think this is a super uncommon vehicle. You don't really see this played very much. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Well, hopefully people won't keep asking me in the chat what it is I'm playing, because they haven't seen one before. But you never know. We might bump into one or two other people that may have heard of this vehicle, or maybe even researched it themselves. Okay, so here we are. It's Sand River, and apparently I'm not the only one that's heard of the M44. But this is obviously just a complete fluke of the matchmaking. 3 of the 4 artillery in this are actually M44s, but that's just, you know, what are the odds of that happening? I think that's probably a pretty rare occurrence. And hey, the fact that I managed to catch it while I was actually recording this live, that's something, right? So what I want to do is obviously, like the pro that I am, immediately drive to a corner, and then even more like a pro, just kind of sit here. And if I remember how to do this correctly, because it has been a while, you have to ping the minimap a lot and like furiously berate your allies. I seem to remember that being a fairly essential part of playing artillery. So a bunch of tanks going here. I mean, it's kind of following on from, and it's less of a thing than just the sheer lack of artillery added to New Nations, but the fact that there are so many maps where there are these spots that you cannot hit with artillery. I mean, that's obviously not right, but only a little bit of damage, but you know, we stunned them. But maybe Wargaming will get around to fixing that someday, where they actually make some really nice flat maps where you don't have this constant issue of you can only fire in certain areas and can't fire in other areas. So up here, for instance, I can't fire at all because there's all these rocks in the way, which is like, that's unfair towards artillery players. I don't know why they would. It's almost like they want people to have cover from artillery, which is odd. But yeah, we'll give it a go. This one hit point. This wheeled French vehicle is having a bit of a charmed life there. See if we can do anything against this M6. Oh, never mind. My allies took care of it. Although that's a bit, it's like they're taking my damage here, which frankly, you know, that's a bit ungrateful of them. They are basically just here to spot for me, which I'm sure they can appreciate. Oh, there we go. A bit of unlucky RNG there. Nothing to do with my aiming, of course. I mean, look at how huge my aiming circle is. So huge. So huge. Yep. Any unlucky miss is purely down to RNG, of course. Wow, I'm really giving those buildings a pounding, which you would think would also give you some XP, but apparently it doesn't, which is odd, because you're clearing a path for your allies. You know, you're clearing lines of sight. You would think the game would appropriately reward you, but it doesn't, sadly. Right, I think we're actually going to have to move, which is, to be honest, not really what I want to do, but it seems like, again, this poor map design is just tripping up my lines of sight, so we're actually going to have to shift our way down south. But, you know, luckily this is a nice mobile vehicle. This is really what you want, is all your artillery to be very fast, very mobile, able to relocate easily, and make the best of the opportunities they can, just to make things extra fair and balanced. Because if you just, you know, those times when you do have to move, you want to be able to move around very quickly. Unlike all those slow lumbering heavy tanks that are one of your prime targets. But you know, if they didn't want to get hit by artillery, they wouldn't have picked slow lumbering heavy tanks. Obviously, they are obviously wanting to be hit by artillery. There's no other reasonable explanation for it. Right. Well, unfortunately, my allies the teammates in the north, they just have failed completely, and now they've all died. So who's going to spot for me? That's very inconsiderate of them, really. But we'll ignore that for now. I guess they're going to get a bit more spotted at the point where they're trying to push down towards our base. Let's see if we can at least do something to this. See, that was obviously my my kind of aiding of that KV-2 getting that shot against the enemy KV-2 there. It startled the enemy KV-2 so much that they ate that 800 plus damage. It just wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't here, being incredibly helpful in my artillery. So yeah, let's fire a shot across there. And oh wow, that was so close, so close. Really, I mean, artillery could stand to be a bit more accurate, and like I say, I really do miss the days when you had those nice premium shells where you could just pop them in and get that extra damage, the extra splash. It's completely fair and balanced. The reload on this is a bit long, I have to say. I mean, come on, a reload over 10 seconds. And the fact that you do so little damage when you hit as well, I mean, the artillery really isn't in a good state these days. It really isn't. I miss the old days back in, God, when we'd be talking now, like 2012, 2013, when you could have like 12 artillery per team. Man, those were the glory days, you know, when you could literally one-shot enemy vehicles. And WorldTech really needs to return to that sort of era, but obviously with a lot more artillery available for every nation. Because why else would you be playing this game? I mean, other players are kind enough to drive the other classes from time to time so that the artillery players have something to shoot at, but we all know it's just for the artillery players' benefit. Because I mean, who would be playing for any other reason? Let's be honest here. It just wouldn't make any sense. You know, it's only just now I realised I bought that 100% crew and then didn't actually put any select any first skills. Not that it would have made a huge difference for this one game, but would have been probably would have been a good thing if I'd remembered. Right, that OI is very low health. Again, 1 hit point, but well, this time at least it was a fellow artillery got the kill. This other M44 might be a bit more practiced than I am, and you can see the other artillery have got some kills as well. So I think this is my rustiness showing here. The fact that I don't have my own 2 or 3 kills yet. Obviously, showing my experience, but you know, all I need is a bit of practice to get back into it. I just need to play artillery over and 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 over. It's fine. I'm not crying. These are tears of joy. Absolutely, these are tears of joy at the thought of that. Totally. Let's see if there we go. Fully skill, 100% skill. I mean, can you doubt it? All my many hours and years of playing artillery, you know, some of it's coming back to me, I suppose. Right, so that's just the enemy artillery left. Now I just need to furiously ping the mini-map and get my allies to, you know, go spot. Oh, what is this? They're doing a cooldown now. Oh, okay. Now this game really has gone to the dogs if they won't let you just ping the mini-map repeatedly over and over and over and over and over. Very disappointing, I'm not going to lie. I've heard tell there are going to be changes coming to artillery as well, but honestly, unless it is back to the old days of uncapped matchmaking and artillery being able to one-shot things, I don't know if I'm necessarily impressed by the notion of what they have proposed. So rather than doing as they should and actually going to spot these remaining tanks, these remaining artilleries, to give their friendly artillery something to shoot at, which is, of course, the reason that we're all here, it looks like the cowards are in fact capping, so I might have to see if I can find one of these glorious... See, there we go, this enemy M44 has decided they're gonna do a similar thing, although they have died to our artillery, but that's fine. That's what they would have wanted, is to die to a fellow artillery rather than to any of those lesser, inferior kinds of armoured vehicles. And this is where the speed of this thing comes in very nice. I mean, I'm not sure why they haven't buffed it so that all artillery aren't just really, really fast. I know some of them are. Some of the French artillery are nice and fast around the map, but some of them are weirdly slow, which, you know, like the S-51 really should be able to go this fast as well, which is another one you throw in my garage. Oh, and there we go, I spotted the Hummel. And, well, I don't know if I'm going to get the shot off for my own Allied M44 does, but give it a go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, I stunned him and got the stun damage and spotted for my Allied artillery. So there we go. And again, it was one of the superior artillery players that actually got that kill. So all is... Oh, it's nice to see, at least in some ways, that all is not completely lost with this game, that some things are still as they should be. So that was rather fun. I think we'll give that another go, but I will do the thing with the crew first, just so I'm actually getting some benefit from my... Oh, I even completed a mission there. Well, there we go. Well done, me. And as you can see, I mean, this is obviously my rustiness showing, but yeah, the other artillery player absolutely deserved spot at the top of the team with not only the best XP, but the best number of kills and the best damage as well. So that is, you know, like I say, this is not completely hopeless. Things are not completely lost as far as game balance goes. Now, one thing as I was clicking around that I realised is that I've got a couple of these crew training things sat around. I've picked Brothers in Arms because obviously, you know, you want to get the most out of your crew. You want to be able to aim that bit quicker or reload that bit quicker. So I'm going to drop some of these training books on, which seems like a perfectly like an extremely good use of what I should be blowing all these things on. And as you can see, this is actually blowing me up to... Wow, that's actually gotten Brothers in Arms. In fact, I could even buy some more if I wanted to. But, you know, I think that's probably enough. We're actually now into our second crew skill, so I'm just going to quickly do that as well. Okay, so there we go. That was actually even into the third crew skill. And the good thing about this is that I hadn't even realised, but, you know, you can buy those crew books for money, and of course... You can basically just buy gold and convert that into money and then buy a bunch of crew books. So, again, that's actually a pretty good point in this game's favour. If you wanted a really good artillery crew, and I suppose, you know, crew for other vehicles as well, you could just, again, get out your credit card and hey presto. And that was even just the crew books I had saved up. You know, I could buy some more and get an even better crew. But for the purposes of this video, I think this is probably fine. So let's see let's see what matchmaking hands us with this next one. I think we'll do this one more match. Well, there we go, right into a game. And okay, 3 artillery per team, and again, matchmaking's actually found another M44, which is surprising. This is some incredible odds right here. We've also got the much more commonplace Hummel there, and apparently that's a popular one right at this moment as well. I'm not quite up to date on my, you know, artillery meta, so I don't really know what the state of the Hummel is, but yeah, this is good matchmaking, at least top tier. Although this map, again, lots of differences in elevation, which is far from ideal, really quite far from ideal. But maybe one day Wargaming will give us the more of the wide open flat maps that the artillery players really just have been asking for all these years. So let's see if anything gets spotted over here. I think the Brothers in Arms is helping me even more than before, which is nice. I've got a sneaky little French wheelie thing over here. Okay, that gives me a rough idea of how long it's going to take my shells to get over to places. Oh! Oh, well! Oh, okay then! A little golf clap for the enemy M44. That was very well played. If I was wearing a hat, I would tip my hat to you, sir, because that was obviously the superior big brain move. I did not move immediately after I shot, and clearly they were scanning around this area and saw where I was. So, you know, bravo, sir. Bravo. Well, seeing as how I was knocked out of that one really quite quickly due to the impressive skill of that other player, I will go into something a bit more well-known and probably even more beloved than the Lefebvre, or at least equally as beloved. The good old Conqueror gun carriage. Now, this isn't the vehicle it used to be. It, alas, cannot do those lovely one-shots that everyone enjoyed so much, but it does still enjoy quite a massive splash radius, and if there's one mechanic that everybody loves in basically any video game, it's the stun lock. Everybody just loves stun lock mechanics, and to be fair, it's not quite a stun lock in this game, but if Wargaming ever decided they were going to get back to the roots of what makes World of Tanks a really good game, perhaps we could get rid of this kind of crew slowdown with a proper stun where your vehicle is just stuck in place, unable to move for a good, at least 10 seconds, I would say. At least 10 seconds. And that way, you know, you would have at least a pretty good margin of time in which you could reload and actually try and hit them again if possible. Now, I'm pretty rusty at this, so I am actually driving. I don't know if this is a fantastic location or not, but we'll see. I might be able to hit the middle from here. This, if I remember correctly, does have a pretty good arc, but as you can see, well, it's a much bigger gun than the M44, but it still does close at a reasonable rate in terms of the reticle. So I don't know if I hit anything there, but I did splash. And this time we're going to move around a bit as well, just to be sure the same thing doesn't happen again. Now, I have a nice bead on this corner. I obviously, you know, I have many a fond memory of those rare occasions when I played other classes of tanks sitting on this corner, just being relentlessly shelled by artillery. There's really nothing quite like it in the game. Just trying to use those spots in maps that would otherwise be really good spots, but they would then be too good. And this is why you have the artillery, in order to balance things. Because if you didn't have that balance, and I've been spotted, then the game would just, it wouldn't be nearly as fun. So clearly this isn't the best spot, but, oh dear, Object 907 got me. Which is, I don't even know, that's the enemy artillery, was it? No? It's an Object 907. There's vehicles I don't recognise in the game these days. Oh, it's a medium tank in the middle. Okay. So, oh dear. Well, some allied player very carelessly got in the way of the shell that this 261 fired. And, I mean, that was their own fault, obviously. It was, they should have known that shell was going to land there, and well, what can you say? What can you say? It's obviously not this guy's fault that he's turned blue. Absolutely not. However, I mean, obviously I've made a huge contribution to that game, so let's go back. And I'm really trying to get another full game here, but you can just tell my clicker instincts just aren't what they used to be. But fortunately, that province game is over already. One of the things I really love about World of Tanks is, you jump into a game and 3 minutes later, your entire team is dead, or the entire enemy team is dead. And obviously those games are just the most satisfying, especially when you're in an artillery with its somewhat more limited rate of fire. Although not so much with the M44, I suppose. This does have a decent rate of fire, although it could be better. It could always be better. Wow! Third M44 game in a row where it's managed to find other M44. Wow, my voice is going from the excitement. I'm just that flabbergasted. 3 other M44s. What are the odds of that? That is incredible. That really is. Now, unfortunately, this is not a good map for artillery, particularly. I'm sure there are many artillery players that would just like to see this map disappear entirely. But you know what? We're going to do what we can, even if we have been dealt a bit of a bum hand. But someday Wargaming will realise the true strength of this game and put things to rights. We can only hope. Now, obviously, this very slow medium tank here is just struggling to keep up, which is, that feels about right. Medium tank being slower than the artillery. I mean, artillery is the mobility class after all. It's quite well known for it, and we can actually get a nice cross-map fire here at the MT25, who thinks they're in cover even on this map, but we might get some nice splash damage against them. We'll see how it goes. We do have a fair bit of pushing going on this side as well, but I don't think I can actually hit there, unfortunately. Oh, we've got some action going on here. Now, do I have... see, my allies have carelessly parked themselves. I run the risk of hitting them here, but that's their fault, though. That's absolutely their fault if they get hit. It's never the artillery player's fault. That's just how things work, It's just how things are. So we can get some partial shots here. Might hit some allies, but if they wanted not to get hit, they wouldn't have sat there. Clearly. We have the red marker. Does that mean there's someone in the way? Maybe. Right, now we have the green marker. Let's try firing. Oh, and we got a bit of a splash damage. That's nice. Let's have a Dickomax back here, but I don't quite have the arc to be able to hit them, sadly. Can't hit anything over on this side. This is really quite poor map design. So much cover for players not to get hit by artillery. I really am not quite sure what they're thinking. Also, we have to furiously... yeah, this is obviously a concern. We have this Hellcat here. That's somebody has to do something about that. So we're gonna keep again with this clicking cooldown. What are they thinking with that? That's not something that should be in the game. Right, so we actually have the Hellcat going for the cat there. So I'm gonna ping, and I'm gonna ping again, and then we're gonna ping again, just in case they didn't notice. We'll give it another ping. Can we give it? Is it gonna block me? Can I keep pinging? See, there we go. We won Conqueror, all down to my contribution with the one shell I actually hit. Yep. See, those guys there. Yeah, I told you. I mean, this is you know, the non-artillery players. They just don't pay attention. You know, they're not like the superior class of being that is the artillery player. Just, you know, generally. So we can get some nice shots from here. Unfortunately, just clipped a building or something. I think after this, I'm gonna have to like submit this video to Wargaming or something to, like, maybe they're just not aware of how bad things are for artillery players at the moment. I mean, I was kind of semi-aware of it myself, but coming back, you know, just before I fired up the game and started playing. But yeah, now that I actually have been playing a bit, it's not entirely bad. You know, as I can say, you can buy yourself a pretty nice crew if you get your credit card out, and even without the premium account, you know, I could get some nice bonuses with the various boosters and things. But yeah, there are other aspects of the game which are just very unsatisfying right now. Right, let's see if we can hit this Cromwell. Not quite a fully aimed shot, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We had the skill to overcome the RNG, and that's pinned them in place. And I even get some assistance for helping my allies, which obviously they should be grateful for. But you know, people never stop to thank their artillery players, which is just a shame, really. So that's it. I think we've finally had another full game. It really is incredible we kept meeting so many other M44s. I mean, seriously, like those three top tier games in a row with at least one of the M44s, and in this case all M44s. That's like, the odds of that must be astronomical. Now, weirdly enough, this time around it wasn't an artillery player in the top space, but you know, these things happen. You have to let the other players get their top spot in the team list as well sometimes, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying this enough to keep, you know, playing it a bit more, I think. But overall, you know, it's just not as good as it could be. Artillery definitely needs some buffs before I think I'd be fully enthusiastic about coming back to World of Tanks. But who knows? Maybe Wargaming will do the right thing by artillery players and actually give us back those glory days of so many artillery per team and all of the one shots, just like it should be. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because oh boy, I enjoyed doing it so much. Definitely not sarcasm. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Oh god. And if you did, then you can do all the usual things down underneath the video, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.